In this video, I want to talk to you about the correlation coefficient R, the formula, and its overall properties. So correlation coefficient R measures the strength and direction of the two variables. And these two variables usually are X and Y, but depending on the class, it could be something like an independent variable for X and dependent variable Y. Now, correlation coefficient R, think of it as, in this case, a linear trend of two variables. Now, correlation coefficient, there are other correlation coefficients that are not linear, but for this particular application with two variables, you're thinking that these two variables align with each other and create a linear pattern. Now, we have two variables. The response variable Y measures the outcome or the result of the study, and the explanatory variable X may explain or influence a change in Y. So again, X is independent of Y, and X will affect Y in some ways. Now here's the formula. It looks pretty long, and there are other formulas out there for correlation coefficient, which is R. Note that you have number of paired points N in here. Okay, that's the first thing you need to know. So if you have X and Y, and you have some points, 3, 4, 7, 8, 10, 15, you have 1, 2, 3 pairs, so N is equal to 3, okay? Make sure you understand that, okay? Then, you can see here that you have the sum of X, Y. So it's a good idea to have, write down X, let's say 1, 2, 3, and Y, 2, 3, 4. And then make another column. In this case, we're going to need X squared, Y squared, XY. So here it says the sum of XY. So 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 4 is 12. And then when you add these up, it's the sum of XY, which in this case will be what? 12, 18, 19, 20, right? So it's 20. So you would put 20 here. You can see that it has parentheses. And do you remember what, when you have parentheses in math? Yes, you multiply. So in this case, N is going to be 3. So 3 times 20 is 60. Okay. So just get a sense. It's better to put these things in tables. Some teachers don't, some teachers do. Then you have over here the sum of X and the sum of Y, which would be over here, right? The sum of X will be what? 3, 5, 6. And the sum of Y would be what? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And so this will be 6 times 9, right? And you'll just write, after you figure it out, you can multiply those two numbers, 6 and 9. Okay, then you can see that, and after that, it seems like you'll subtract those two values. Down here, you have well, first of all, down here you have two brackets, this bracket, and then it's inside of a square root. So inside that bracket, you have N, in this case would be 3, and then you have, in this here, you have the sum, right? The sum of X squared, and here you have subtraction, and here you have the sum of X quantity squared. One thing that students do seem to have an issue is the sum of X squared does not equal to the sum of X quantity squared. On some magical moment, they might be equal to each other, but, these are two different values, all right? So keep that in mind. That's very important to moving forward, okay? And you can see over here, this over here would be the sum of X squared, and over here would be the sum of X. So it's this one that you would square, whatever number is here, okay? And then you can see over here on this side, You have n, and you have the sum of y squared, a subtraction sign, the sum of y squared quantity, the sum of y quantity squared. All right. So this formula is a bit complicated. It has a lot of steps. I do have a video that shows you step by step how to do this formula, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what the formula looks like, get that first initial reaction that you have. It's like, oh, it's very long. No, it's not. All right? It's not that bad. And to continue with this, when you find this number and this number, you subtract those two. And then you multiply these two values. You take the square root, and then you divide. Believe it or not, it's the same step all the time. Different numbers. All right. Good luck, data detectives. I hope to see you later. Bye-bye.